Something a bit different today, sunblock for tyres. Now, I was looking for some new tyre treatment for my car. I bought some new tyres about 6 months ago, and my car does spend all of its time parked outdoors in the sun, of course, absorbing UV. And what you don't want when you've bought new tyres is for the tyres one day to end up needing replacement because the sidewalls have deteriorated in sun faster than you've worn the tread out. So I came across this stuff and it looked interesting, so I thought I would buy it, give it a go, and report to you guys on how it worked out.
I found this on Amazon. It's not too expensive. I'll link to it below. So, sunblock for tires and other rubber surfaces. You might be able to use it to coat seals and the like on your car if you wanted to, in addition to tires. It claims to prevent aging, cracking, weather checking, protects black wall tires exposed to UV, and explicitly claims to bond to rubber, which would be the usual challenge, I'd imagine, with a more typical acrylic paint. Now, on the back, you can see a photo of old sun-damaged tire sidewall. And this is true, of course, so you do see this plenty, especially around here where I am. There are directions here too. I'll go over the application in a minute. At the bottom right here, you can see that they basically claim a longevity of 12 to 24 months, which sounds plausible. And they also say not to apply on new tires. They should be a few months old before you treat them. Inside, you get the bottle of treatment itself, but also a few other tools for application, including a bottle of preparatory cleaning detergent. Now, for any coating, preparation is always 90% of the final outcome. If you try to put this on anything that's dirty, then of course it's not going to stick. So I decided to clean my tires not only with this, but also to give them a good scrub with dishwash as a first pass. This should certainly get most dirt, oil, and wax off them. And then you have to assemble the squirter nozzle for the supplied cleaner bottle, which is slightly strange, but I suppose it adds to the fun. You need to cut the tube to the right length and connect it to the nozzle. Then the directions are to apply it, that's to say the cleaner fluid, to the rubber. You let it sit for a minute, and then agitate it with a stiff bristled brush. And then rinse it off before it dries. And I did notice that whatever this stuff is, it seems to do a good job. As you can see, this brush is still picking up quite a lot of dirt, even after I've just washed the tires already with the dishwash, as you saw. And then finally, after you do all 4 tire sidewalls, it'll all need to be dry before you go anywhere near it with the coating, and that may take a while. And only then, with a squeaky clean rubber, did I get onto the actual application. The stuff you see here, the foam brush and the tray, are supplied, and the treatment itself looks a lot like simple black paint. This means, by the way, that you can't use it on white sidewall tires unless you want them black for obvious reasons. So it goes on fairly easily. If you've ever used a paintbrush, you won't have any difficulty here. And it's water-based, so if you do make a mess, it will clean off with water. Now, I did try the first wheel without masking, as you can see, but it was too difficult to get into the space at the rim of the alloy where the tyre meets it, without getting paint all over the rim. And while that does clean off easily, it's a pain and time-consuming. So it turned out to be more time-efficient in the end to just do proper masking, which could then just be pulled off once finished. And you'll also want to roll the wheels around so as to be able to reach the area that's squashed against the ground. Then they want you to leave it for 4 hours drying time. My first impression of the finished and dried coating after that 4 hours was pretty positive. You can see some texture from the foam brush if you look up close, which goes to say that maybe the paint is not quite completely self-leveling, but it's not very obvious, and it does disappear from more than a meter or so away. It's certainly not a glossy, wet look like you get from some tyre shine products, but I always disliked that look anyway, and it's not like that stuff lasts, which just makes it more of a pain than it's worth, in my opinion. So this really just makes the tyre look like it's new. It has that sort of matte black new rubber look of a tyre, that hasn't started to fade or discolor, which you might call weathering. And I really think that's ideal because it just gives it a nice clean look. Now you might be thinking that this is just overpriced black paint and that there's nothing special about it in terms of the sunblock characteristics. In other words, maybe it just protects from UV by way of being an opaque black coating, and you may in fact be correct. Although the price is not too bad, even on that basis if you account for the other bits and pieces in the kit. Now, I used some kids' sun-sensitive paper just to verify the UV protection properties in any case, and it does provide a proper sunblock so long as the coating's intact. In fact, it did a better job than a thick layer of SPF 100 sunscreen for skin. So whatever the mechanism is at a chemical or physical level, I say fine so long as it continues to stick to the rubber.
So it's been 8 weeks since I applied this, and it's actually winter where I am, which means that the roads are very wet and dirty, and I have been doing a bit of driving, which means the wheels have been taking a bit of abuse, and I haven't actually washed the car, much less the wheels, since then. So what you're seeing here is actually the sort of natural, so to say, condition. I haven't prepared this in advance of showing you today. I appreciate that 8 weeks in the context of a coating which is supposed to last about 2 years is not very long, but nevertheless I wanted to just sort of check that nothing was starting to peel off or nothing was fading already, and it all seems to be fine. It's pretty good.
And if it does disappoint in the short term, then I will update you in the future, so stay tuned. So in general, I'd recommend it. If your tyres are exposed to a lot of sun in the way that mine are, and you're willing to put the time into the application and future maintenance in a year or two again, then I think this probably is a good idea. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Have fun.